All right. Hello, everybody. I am The Way to Dawn, and today we're going to be going over my Hero Story PB I got last night that put me in 4th place on the leaderboards with their new timing method. So I've been grinding this game for about a year now, pretty seriously. I played the game years and years and years ago, and only recently got back into it. It's been a really good time. I've met a lot of really cool people. Met some of my best friends through this community, and it really meant a lot to me just chilling with homies in VC last night that I was able to get an insane run. So because I split my audio, we're gonna do this little weird thing where I put music over the VOD and commentate it and let you guys know what was going on in my head during this, where my time saves are and stuff like that. So to get into it a little bit, City Escape been a terrible stage for me lately. Obviously, I end up getting first try of the skip, kind of required for runs at this point. But I don't know if you noticed, but I paused for a little longer than I normally do there. Last night, I was having a really hard time getting the skip with quick pauses, so I just decided to delay them a little bit. It ends up being about a 0.8 pause, 0.8 of a second, so not too bad, but a little bit worse than my normal and what I would like to see. And the City Escape was on really nice pace until that happens. The truck section kind of goes awry here, but I was having a hard time getting out of City Escape. I was like, you know what, let's just take it. Let's see what the RNG is. And if it's solid, then we can keep the run, because at the end of the day, like, City Escape is not the only split in the run. There are like 22 or 23 splits. So just having one bad split isn't the end of the world at my PB's level at the time. Now, this is a time that I'm definitely going to need to improve. Like, this is not okay for future runs. Yeah, for now, this is totally fine. Not really too big a deal. All right, Bigfoot, pretty simple. One of the things I noticed after this run is that my bosses, I kind of just lose a little bit of time everywhere to bosses. And that's another thing I'm going to need to work on a lot before I come back to Hero Story seriously. I do want to beat this PB eventually. Even though this is a really nice run for me now, it's going to be pretty hard to beat. But I do want to do it. And we'll talk more about that later. Yeah, 21.6x is the classic, honestly. I'm only losing a couple tenths there, so it's not too big a deal. It's fine with consistency. So I got a pretty funny set here that's very rare. I think it's 2 out of 1024. If you get, it's either beginning room or between the 2 stone statues with parakeet, left parakeet, or parakeet on the left shoulder, you get the piece called Under the Elbow. It's a very rare one. The collision of the piece is terrible, but it turns a bad set into a pretty good one. And it's a pretty rare one, so it's pretty funny to have in a PB that I'm probably going to keep for a long time. Pretty satisfied with my movement there. Pretty hard to get a sub 20 with that set because of how Under the Elbow is. Yeah, pretty happy with that movement. Another important thing here is recently, since my last PB, you'll see if you're watching the delta in the top right, because you can't really see my split times of my old PB, but I had a 14 Eggman, which if you don't know is not very good. Here it's not much better, but it does still save a second. I've actually solved this fight, which is funny to say because it's like one of the most simple boss fights in the game, but I could not get a good time in it. And I just got unlucky there because tail shots can't go through Eggman's laser. So it was kind of difficult to I was just gonna lose time there pretty much. One of the big points where I have time saved for the future is mostly just in the tail stages in this run. Prison Lane was somewhat average, but I need to lower my average is what I'll say. Like, it was an average time for me, but that needs to be better. There's a lot of early game stages where I don't push them crazy hard because I want to be able to get as much runs as possible. One of the stages that's really killing my attempts is Green Forest, because it's such a stage that you can save so much time, right? And so I don't want to put a ton of attempts into City Escape, Prison Lane, Metal Harbor, just to get to Green Forest and lose it, right? So at this point, my mentality is kind of just play for the consistency, get some nice times, and then play for the consistency, get some nice times that are good enough, get to Green Forest and play out of your mind. And that's how we PB. In the future, I just need to play well in every split. We are about a minute away from record now, so there's only so much time to save. Obviously, record can go lower, but that run is pretty damn good. So I don't expect to catch up to that anytime soon. But yeah, here, I believe, if I remember correctly, I come away with a 135. Solid time, but there is still quite a bit of time saved there. All right, and 354. Pretty solid time. A while ago, my cutoff for Prison Lane for like its solid run was 4 minutes, but now it's kind of more like 350 to 355. So this is like a solid pace. One thing I was really worried about here was the very start. I'd been messing up under loop all night, but I got a very clean one there. And even with playing this a bit safe, we still end up getting a really nice upgrade time. 18 upgrade, pretty solid. When I was grinding Metal Harbor, I used to be able to get 18 a lot more consistently, but yeah, I just haven't been pushing the stage as hard, like I mentioned, because Green Forest is like, had just been killing so many runs for me lately. I pretty much just take everything as safe as possible and accept that I'm losing little bits of time here and there. Really cut that birthday skip really tight. I'm actually really proud of that one. That turned out pretty well. Yeah, so that's pretty solid. And 53 rocket, pretty solid. This is definitely a really nice Metal Harbor. Like, I can do better, but this is like playing within a second or two of my gold. So definitely happy with this time. I think this is probably my best combined Sonic in a run ever, which is funny considering the City Escape starts with like a 125, right? 124 in IGT, just adding a second for that pause. Yeah, 120 Metal Harbor. Definitely good. We will take that for sure. And yeah, you can tell my Sonic has improved a lot since the last time I PB'd. And even in the Green Forest coming up, no crazy spoilers, but it is a better time than my old PB, but not as good as I would like. Like, it's still pretty far from my gold. And here we have the Shadow 1 fight. This fight I've been pretty consistent at getting 11s. But it is a difficult one because there is some degree of RNG, whether or not Shadow will high jump. And I'm pretty confident the fight goes well here. We'll just have to see. I don't really remember this too well. I only remember some of the times. But yeah, it looks... If I remember, it's an 11. Yeah, this looks fine. Usually if you can get that second hit with that Shadow jumping... Ooh, my favorite song. But yeah, we really only lost like 0.15 there. Like, literally just like a tenth. So it's really not too big a deal. Very happy with that time. And then Green Forest. Here at this point, I've been to this point like 10 seconds ahead into Green Forest so many times now. I was just not nervous here because it's like, can't wait for it to die. And so, like I said, I was splitting audio, right? So I am actually in VC during this run. I think it was like me, Emerald, a Sinister Taco, and Tylenol. Mr. Taco. And I'm just like, can't wait for this run to die to Green Forest. And here we are. Obviously, it did not die to Green Forest, so that... Speaking of VC, I just remembered because of that mushroom. We're not going to get the in-depth commentary here for this the Queen Area Easy, but I want to talk about this because it was funny. When I almost picked up that mushroom, I was like, we should make a mod that makes Sonic into Mario, and then you do mushroom percent, where you just go get the mushroom. Anyway, that's one of the key things I remember from VC in this run. Funny enough, that is one of the things I remember. Yeah, so far, pretty clean Green Forest. Let's see. Here I get a 48 check. So we've lost like 2 seconds, but that's not too big of a deal. 2, maybe even 3, but pretty clean task run. We went uber safe, 102 check, very solid. I think from this point we could have had like a 116, if I remember. But we didn't get the loop speed there, so that lost a good amount of time. And then I also didn't go for Air Jordan because I was like, we got out of Green Forest, let's just take the run. 119 with a restart, so it's still a 119, but it's a higher 119. But solid time, like anything sub 120 is definitely nice enough to take. And 646 out of Green Forest, pretty good time. I can push this down probably another 10 to 20 seconds, 20 on like the godlike run, but like this is pretty good, you know. I'm minus 16, and here I'm like, if we get some really nice RNG here, we'll be majorly ahead. No cold iron bars, so that's unfortunate. Hi shining face, how you doing? They hate him for this. Unfortunately, even with this check, we don't even get the piece, so... But we do get it's about to fall off, so... This piece is pretty fun to grab if you're able to get the movement, and I got some really nice movement here for it. And then we get pumpkins who don't get along, and I'm like, wait a minute. This is like a really good set if I get like place where you can hear the horn or suffering from a stuffed nose. Lo and behold, suffering from a stuffed nose. And I end up golding this split. It doesn't show obviously in the top right because that's only a delta. But wow, we ended up golding this split with a 27. I was like, we are 30 seconds ahead right now. And this is where I started panicking. The mission streak coming up, I was just like, dude, I'm sweating right now. Yeah, and I had to throw in the mission streak cover, the classic. This one is too good. But yeah, the mission streak. This split is crazy. It is probably the most consistent split in the run, but I am not that consistent at it. Like I usually hit it. Like if you were to take a bet of whether or not to hit it, it's probably like 90-10. But when you're nervous like this and you just realize that one small mistake can lose you 12 seconds, it's scary. And then here, like, this whole entire stage is terrifying. Like, I jumped really late there, but I had a super good hover, so it didn't matter. Yeah, and then here, we're able to actually get the strat where you don't have to pause, so that's good. A little bit of time saved there. And so here, we're just playing for the biggest window possible for us to hit 0 cycle. So we do the pause hover there to make sure we can get on the cycle at the right time. I actually missed that jump so that you don't have to pause over there, which actually puts us a little bit farther away from 0 cycle. Here I'm like, I have to play pretty well or we're at risk of missing 0 cycle. And missing 0 cycle makes this run like immediately not as good. And there I actually get slowed down. So here I'm like scared. I'm like, we have to go for a super insane pause hover. So I go as early as possible, nail it, and then I still have to make a good pause hover, and I do it. I was like shitting my pants here, for lack of a better term. My heart was about to leap out of my chest. I was terrified, but we ended up getting it, and that is all that matters, right? So thankful that we were able to get it, but man, was I scared. Mission Street can be a terrifying stage. Because of how many big jumps we needed to do, my pauses were really long. I think we ended up losing like 3 minutes to pauses or something like that, so that was pretty unfortunate. But, you know, at least we don't lose the full 12 seconds or even like take half cycle and lose like 8, because that also would have sucked. But yeah, we got through the stage. But I'm realizing at this point that my pace is insane. Like, if I got a top tier Aquatic Mine, I am definitely on 21 pace at this point, I'm realizing. And this is just insane. My brain is like, is this possible? Like, am I just like, can I just get 21? Can that just happen? Good RNG and pretty solid execution all over the place. And I see Red Eye and I'm like, 3 fans? Nope. There can be a set with both. Unfortunately, I don't get it, but Red Eye is still usually a pretty good piece. So I do my movement, no free piece checks because it can't spawn any free pieces up there. Red flowers. Okay, so here I'm like, yes, this is pretty solid. Really funny upper from Knuckles. And then I'm like, dented ceiling. Oh, you saw I was headed towards the stair-shaped brick room clip. Definitely surprised by this piece. Fortunately, I'm able to get that first try. If you have not tried that yourself, it is not easy, especially when you're stressed. So I was super hype that I was able to get that first try. By the way, that comparison right now, the -10 right there, the -10, that's best split times. I was -10 on my best split times ever. You can see me cycling through the deltas there. But yeah, so this is 10 seconds faster than any run I have ever had ever. Incredible pace. So yeah, at this point, like, I'm not even paying attention to this Route 101. I'm just talking to M and Taco and BC and just being like, what do I do? And also, that 946 out of Aquatic Mine, that's also in variant 1 you have to think about. So that includes the pausing, where I lost like 4 seconds to pauses. In IGT, that's probably like a 942. So this was really an incredible run, just all around so far. Like, that first half was really solid. Great execution in most stages. The biggest time loss was the 124 City Escape. And really solid RNG and good execution as well. Yeah, at this point in Route 101, I'm just trying to keep it together. Like, my brain is freaking out. I'm like, you have to calm down. You have all of desert to go. You have desert, you have space. There's so many splits that can end this. This is no, like, you have not done it yet. But I was pretty happy that I was able to get my best split times ever. Like, it's really motivating. Even if I wasn't able to PB in this run, it would have been really cool just to have such a good pace to show that I really can do it, you know? Yeah, at this point, I'm on pretty solid pace in Route 101, which I don't even know how I got here. I'm kind of just autopiloting at this point. But yeah, on a nice pace. Route 101 kind of just, you know, it is what it is. It's just Route 101. There's not really too much to say. I'm playing decently, but that's pretty much it. But yeah, I've had a lot of runs recently that got here ahead, not this far ahead. Like, I think it was the other day that I was -20 into desert. This is -31. So I'm realizing at this point, if I can go even with my second half from my PB, that will have like just a god tier time. And that rattled me for sure. And you'll, no big spoilers, but you'll see in Hidden Base that I was kind of freaking out a little bit. Pause hovers became very rough. Just barely sub 215, the 214.99. But yeah, so 12:01 out of Route 101. We got about 10 minutes of the run left, give or take a little bit of time. But yeah, definitely on pace for a low 22. At this point, probably not on 21 pace. You would have to have like one of the best deserts in space. Like, you would have to have this one of the best second halves of all time to get a 21 from the position that I was in. So pretty much not expecting that. And then here we started struggling. I was like, okay, I guess we're just going for GC skip and we're just going to kill the run because I haven't done this in like weeks. And then instead of killing the run, we just clipped through like butter. Like there was nothing there. One of the cleanest GC skips of my life, and I was like, oh, let's go. Okay, we take those. But yeah, that start was unfortunate because literally from just not getting pull hop and having the two failed attempts into GC skip, that just means we're gonna lose like 5 seconds. And here I'm like, damn, that really is unfortunate. I will say, shout out to M, shout out to Taco for keeping me calm during this VC because wow, was I stressed out. I was freaking the heck out during this run. It was crazy. So like after I had to go for GC skip and I was like, I'm just gonna bleed time. Like that's just how it's gonna be. And M was like, dude, You have plenty of time to lose. You're chilling. But yeah, so at this point, I'm just kind of like, we're gonna lose time in this hidden base. Let me just make sure that I get through it and don't die. Like, let me just make sure I just don't kill the run. But yeah, this hidden base, for the most part, pretty solid outside of the start. Like, when you just get GC skip, and you aren't able to hit pull hop, you're kind of just gonna not get a great time. But yeah, this time loss, like, we can tank that, you know? We were 30 seconds ahead, so losing about 6 seconds isn't the biggest deal in the world. Alright. So, Pyramid Cave. This was a stage that I've kind of been struggling with lately. It's still, for someone who's trying to be a top runner, my time is kind of not as good as it needs to be. So I have been working on this stage a lot lately. Shout out to Trader, been helping me out, giving me some tips of how to improve. So at this point, I'm like, you just need to go even with your PB, which I believe was a 131. And I was like, I can totally do that. We don't even have to worry about sub 130. Our pace is so good, we can just get a decent time, and we're fine with it. So here, I'm just playing for total consistency. Trying to use the spin dash extra long there, making sure to stay on the right part of the slope, as Trader's orders. Getting a decent tunnel, but I think I killed a lot of the speed that I got from spin dashing at the right part. And then this was funny. I was actually on a pretty nice pace, and then I bonked into the wall. But yeah, here, like, everything's kind of just going well. No really huge mistakes. Just kind of like, as I had mentioned, going for more consistent strategies kind of slowed us down a bit. But for the most part, solid. Nothing really to complain about, just things that I can optimize better. And even though I was just going for a decent one, we get a sub 130. So again, pretty happy with that time. Being on a pace like that and getting a sub 130, I was popping off. So at this point, I'm a little worried because Death Chamber's coming up. And if I remember correctly, we have a 38 in our PB. So, like, there's almost no way that we match that unless we get roasted keys. That was pretty hype. At this point, I was like, oh my god, is this the core EO1? Because if this was the core EO1, oh my gosh, that would have been incredible. It would have been like an amazing set. Unfortunately, it was not. And then here, kind of make a mistake of clipping back in, so I kind of misplayed this set, which was unfortunate. Kind of got carried by the fact that it had roasted keys in it. But then I was like, oh man, I guess I just have to death strat. It's over. Yeah, here I just die to reset my position. You get flat scorpion, and I'm like, oh, I was not seeing this coming. I try to go for the out of bounds grab, which is pretty hard, to be fair. And we're actually able to get it. We did pretty clean. It was pretty clean movement there. It was a little bit scary, but we ended up getting it. And that's what's important. At this point, I'm like, oh my god, we survived Death Chamber, and we're out minus 18. Keep in mind, my main goal was just to get top 5 here. I need a PB by only, like, in our new timing method, it is like 8 seconds. But in IGT, it's only about 4. But both of them are very impactful for me, and I'm like, wow. We have 10 seconds to burn. That means I can get, like, second try Bofa, and it's not even a big deal. This is huge. I just have to play well. And I also acknowledge that I have time save an egg golem. I'm like, if I can hit Bofa, if I can get an average Meteor Herd set, this run is insane. This is exactly the run that I've been grinding for at this point. So I'm kicking it into high gear right now. I'm making sure that I am nailing everything, just focusing on not messing anything up. We already have the pace. If we can just hit everything, even if it's slow, we will PB, and PB by a lot. So that was the goal. So solid King Boom Boo. We used a little bit of time because of our strategy that we used for it. We don't do the normal cat boost. And here I was like, oh no, Egg Golem. Oh no. Wait, I haven't done bounces in so long. I was a little scared here, but I am nailing them so far. We missed the first one, but we get 3 in a row. And M is in VC like, okay. Here I'm like, I am not dying. Give me a ring. So we end up getting the hit. I end up getting the jump off the arm. Not the best Egg Golem because I wasn't able to get the first bounce, so I had to wait an extra cycle. But this still does save time. And like I said, we're just trying to not lose time. That is the goal. So saving time was incredible. And here I'm like, mentally I'm accepting that I'm gonna get second try Bofa. Because I just have not been hitting the Quan lately. But here, I was just like, you know, it'd be pretty cool if I could get it, but we have so much time. I've built a lead that it doesn't even matter. So it doesn't matter. Let's just try our best and hit it. And I do. Hit the fucking Quan. And right there, right here, I'm like, this is not fucking okay. I am stressing out so bad because I'm like, this run is fucking crazy. Like, I thought this run was good before, and it's even better now. Like, we were actually able to hit the Quan, so we're not going to lose any time to missing first try. And here you can see I'm just tapping X so fast. I'm like, I gotta calm down. And then M was just like, okay, relax, because you still have like Meteor Herd and CGSS. You still have so much to go. You know, like, relax, it's not over. You're doing great though. M was my rock in this, dude, and Taco was chilling, throwing some stuff in there. The homies for real. But yeah, it was definitely appreciated because I was stressing out. I think if I was doing this offline PB alone, it was very scary. Also, I freaked M out with that drop there. He was like, oh my god, that was so scary. But I knew where I was, so that's all that matters, right? At this point, I'm like, imagine like the IL set in Meteor Herd. Imagine how crazy the Meteor Herd IL set would be here. I would actually lose it because this pace would be like 21 pace all of a sudden, I think. I think it would be 21 pace anyway. That would be the run where I would lose my mind. But here I get next to the rocket, pointing at the arc. This piece can be solid. There's definitely quite a few sets where it's fine. It has the free piece, so I had to check. I think there's one set with it. And then we went over here. I was expecting to have to go down, but it ended up being highest rotating beacon, which was a surprise to me. I don't know if I've ever seen this set before. It was just a weird one. But I was like, you know, any piece from here isn't bad. Like, this is just an average set, which is huge. On a fantastic run, getting an average set, that's exactly what you want. It was so perfect. So yeah, we don't end up losing much time at all here, about a second, and that's fine. We're totally all right. And now I'm like, okay, we have a damn run on our hands, but I have to hit CGSS. And I have a few tries to hit it, which gave me so much confidence. Just renewed with confidence at this point. Like, really scared, shaken, but I am confident. We are in the very last steps of the run. Really the only thing in our way. We have a couple boss fights and 2 skips. FR, I am extremely confident in. It's probably one of my most played Sonic stages, probably my second most played behind Green Forest. I just feel confident in that. Like, there's no way I'm fucking that up. But Crazy Gadget, it's a hard skip, especially when you're nervous. And I put so much energy into this. I was just so focused. Taco and M also just watching with hawk eyes right now. Kind of glued to the screen, I'm sure. Pretty insane pace. But yeah, some really weird things happen in the CG, but we end up like doing it fine. Like, look at this camera, that's so weird. Like, below the ground or something. But yeah, we were just all so scared. But some really weird stuff happened, but I ended up doing it pretty normally. Getting the checkpoint here for safety. Yeah. And then here I'm like in between, terrified. If you don't get this, it's okay. It's CGSS, it's understandable. I'm like, nah, let's do it. And here I'm like, oh my god, I'm out. And we're all losing our shit. And we're just like, dude, what is happening? It's going, it's working. It's working. And then here, this terrified me. I almost like went past the goal ring. It was an absolute heart attack. We're all like, oh, I hit the goal ring. Okay, it's fine. We're all right. Don't even have to worry about it because it's over. But like, that was scary. I could have just lost the run right there. That homing attack cancel, it had distance on it, dude. It had distance. But yeah, so this fight is a fight I have been messing up a ton lately. And I was like, nah, I'm going to nail it right here, right now. I'm going to nail this shit. I got it. Spoiler alert, he did not got it. And then Eggman is juking me. And then I make a bad choice here of going to the right. But it was a little bit of a scary fight. But we ended up being fine. Lost 4 seconds, unfortunately. 4 to 5 seconds of what time you like to get there. But it's okay. Because we also got a 17 in our PD. It's definitely a fight we need to work on now that I'm thinking about it. But final rush. We are here. We're at the end. All I have to do is beat final rush in Shadow 2. At this point, I am so stressed, but like I just know that if I play to my level and I just play confident and normal, that's all that needs to happen. So nothing else really matters right now. It's just me playing the way I know I can. Nothing different than normal. Done this a million times, right? Like, I've played this stage so many fucking times. There's no way I can mess it up. There is one scary thing that happens, but we make it past the kill plane. We have solid height, and I'm just like, yes. The only thing I'm unsure of is like, because I had jumped a little later off the rail, so I wasn't really sure where I was with the end of the stage. I kind of had a different angle than normal. So I was like, I actually might be like too far to the left. So that's why you saw me kind of adjust right. And then you'll see what happens when it loads in. If you don't know where the kill planes are, I am behind the kill plane right now. So I have to navigate around it. I just narrowly skirted the kill plane there. We actually almost lost the run. If I wasn't thinking about it, we probably would have lost the run there. But I'm glad that I had the presence of mind in that moment to know that we could be too far to the left. Now all we have is one fight. And at this point, I am covering my timer with my mic. I just have it pushed away, and I am not looking at my timer at all because I don't want to know what possible time I can get. I just want to close it out. But 22:07, incredible. This can give us a low 22 2x. It could give us like 22:22 basically. But yeah, so this fight, I will just say it was terrifying. Because here I go a little bit too fast on the hit, and I bounce on him, but he goes past me. And I wasn't able to get that one, and I'm like, oh no, the platform's falling. But it worked. And we got the PB, 22-24. 4th place on the boards. An incredible time. And I'm going to let myself take it away for the rest of the recording. Let's fucking go! We did it, dude. Oh my god. 4th, dude. Oh my god. I'm fucking crying right now, dude. Holy shit. That's an aura bomb. Look at this at least. Oh my god. And that's the run. Yeah, it was a really good one. Shout out to M and Taco keeping me calm in the VC because I was freaking out. But yeah, 4th place. We did it. And I might be taking a small break from Hero New Game but I'm not done yet. So stay tuned for that.